When we talk about the fact that the world has had a space for men for such a long time, you are in a privileged position to be able to kick women out of spaces that they create for themselves and use them selfishly. And you shouldn't be able to do that.
I mean, men get raped. I've read somewhere that like men get raped should be a statement on its own.
You are society, and when you complain about society, you are complaining about yourself.
I don't know, okay, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but just for the example of men in what kind of pronounce
that you don't need to pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, that example, that's a form of whataboutism, because first of all, it's not a thing. It's really not a thing, and that's frustrating because even with the examples that we've used, men get raped too, or I don't know. One that I saw was, you go out clubbing or whatever, about women who were trying to create a difference, you whatever, and they'll be like, you go out clubbing, you do this, you dress like that. Those are forms of whataboutism, and it's so frustrating for someone who's trying to create a difference, and they just come in with these such invalidating points, which are frustrating. I don't know how you guys you guys feel about it.
The worst thing about that type of whataboutism is the fact that it suggests, which is coming up in one of our posts, that because people do bad things don't matter. Moral equivacy. If everyone does bad things and the moment they do something bad, you can say, well, what about this other, or they call something bad out, you can say, what about the time you ran over someone's dog? It becomes irrelevant. Anything bad that happens, because you can say, well, Savannah once slapped someone across the face, so why can't I shoot this person up? Well, this boy once punched a woman, why can't I rape you? It becomes moral equivacy. You start to nullify the importance of sort of rebuking bad things because you've decided that tit for tat, an eye for an eye, and it doesn't work like that.
Word.
I think especially with that man, especially with local man who said that, why are you guys advocating against rape culture when you are being used by men in clubs? Excuse me, how dare you assume that because women do whatever they want, which is exactly what men do, that they still can't advocate for their rights? It's almost like saying that certain people deserve more rights than others. It's almost like saying that because you decide to be your own person, you deserve to die. You deserve to be sexually assaulted. It doesn't make any sense. Again.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Can you repeat it? Or is it just...
It's you.
It's you, Nashe.
Oh, it's me. So it's fine, never mind.
It's a deflection. It's basically saying that this person's argument is invalid because you don't think they deserve rights. It's not because they don't deserve rights. It's because you are horrible enough to think that they don't deserve rights. And that's, again, a problem. It's being an irresponsible citizen of society.
Because they're falling short of your respectability standards.
Not even respectable. And let's not call it respect. Humanity. They are not human enough.
Yes.
Exactly.
And the moment you decide that men get raped too is enough to nullify women get raped, you are saying rape is acceptable in society. And we're just meant to let it happen.
You are like you.
This local boy also kind of said that we should find our own clout after we did the whole accountability post last year. And that was frustrating just to watch because we don't rely off of your clout. We're not chasing
if you have any to begin with.
Local men specifically said, I'm not a social media figure.
You're not a social media figure. You have to have it to want it. And also, we're not a page that chases clout. We are not that. We're a page that wants justice for females. That's what we want. And if you're going to use that as your tactic, do you know how stupid you sound?
Just for the record, this whole thing about, they were chasing clout. Now that you have your clout, can you leave me alone? One, it's not about you. It's not about you.
You weren't the
Stop
only
thinking
one.
it's about
You
you.
weren't the
You
only
don't
one in
care.
that post. You weren't
You're not
the only one
in
You
that
really
that
think
post.
a bunch of 18 to 19-year-olds
And
sat
then-
down and said, wow, how can we have clout? Let us use this
Let's
boy.
find
Yes, he is
local
the
boy.
Almighty. He shall help us. Like, are you dumb? Are you stupid?
Are you stupid?
Just to get back to like what I was talking about clout. First of all, women's rights activism advocacy is not clout for thing. Do you know we get so much
Get
hate for what we
bullied.
do?
What do
Not
you
a
mean?
clout in.
What do you
Like you
mean?
don't get clout off of this. People are more likely to stop following you because of this type of activism than to start following you. The way society is structured, men get defended when we hold them accountable for this kind of stuff, for rape, for perpetuating rape culture, for being rape apologists. They get defended. We don't get defended. So when you say that we're chasing clout, that's just another deflection, which goes back to the whataboutism thing. It's just you trying to make it seem like we are the problem when we are not the problem.
And I also think it's a reflection of this belief amongst men that being a feminist is being a simp. Like saying I respect women gains you clout. And I think maybe that's where the clout came from. Because a lot of people said this person is the most famous person for respecting women, which is concerning because the bar
That's scary.
is not set very high. But like the whole idea that if you respect women as a man, like that gives you clout. Like it doesn't work like that in general, and especially not for girls.
That's so strange to me. You know how scary it is when your bar is so low. It's so low. Like imagine if that's the person who represents people who represent women. What about the people that disrespect women? What about those? Those might scare me. Because if he's the bar for no, he truly believes women deserve this. What about the guy who calls himself a misogynist? What does he think? That's a bit creep, ne? I don't think that's not safe.
And even like I meant to say back then, the whole I know how it feels. I've seen people in the hospital. You know, if you haven't been raped, even as a woman, you really can't always say you know how it feels. Like we cannot confidently say that, let alone you, who is on the opposite side, who is saying that if you're in Pablo's and you're doing whatever, you can't not want to be raped. You know, like it just doesn't align very well.
I think it's
Yeah.
just like, it's just a lot of people, I mean, I don't say people, thinking that rape is just about sex. You know, to a lot of people, sex is like that, you know, the standard, you have to sleep with women, you have to do this. So people think it's about sex, but it's not about sex. It's about violence. Like, it's violence. You're not just, anyways.
Yeah,
And you have to laugh because if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
yeah, literally. It's really like it's the ultimate violation. I don't know if we can say there's anything worse. I think death is not as bad compared to rape.
Word. You have to like live on with that. You get violated. Someone, you know, sex
Yeah,
It's hard.
it's
okay,
a lot.
it is okay. And then it's forced now. So you're not even,
It's
you don't
forced.
want that. It's forced. And then that finishes, people invalidate you. People don't create a space for you to get help, to actually, and then you got to live on with that for the rest of your life.
And people say it's your fault. People say you are lying. People say that you deserved it. Your family leaves you. There's someone who said that people need to stop calling family meetings when children, and okay, I'm going to add in and women are raped or abused. Stop calling family meetings. Call the police.
Yeah.
What are you trying to call a family meeting for? What are you trying?
Yeah.
That's the type of society we live in.
Yeah.
That's the type of society we live in. And now let's look at one of the replies. Someone then said children should learn to dress well as a response to that. And you know, it doesn't matter how many examples people show you. It doesn't matter how many times people explain to you that this is a problem. If you don't want it to be a problem, it won't be a problem. We cannot convince you. We can't convince you that it's an issue. It's strongly a you problem if you don't want to acknowledge that something is a problem.
The worst thing is you'll see like there's so many cases of little boys being abused by like older women in Zimbabwe,
And men.
especially. It's always tiny boys. And you'll see that exact same person go and say, this is so unjust. So it's not just clothes in it. Why is it about her clothes when it's a young girl?
I think like
That's silence.
just and I think just another deflection, going back to local man and his whataboutism, you can't say things like, how can you come from Pablo's at night and then come here to talk about rape? One, that was wrong because you didn't at the time he didn't even know who was behind that post. So that was just an assumption. Again, that's how you can tell it's a deflection, because he's using, false information to deflect, to remove himself
Ad
as the
hominem.
problem. Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
you can't say that, because you thinking that someone doesn't deserve rights doesn't mean that they don't deserve them. Again, it just goes back to how you are as a person, because other people cannot be at fault for your oppressive behavior. That's not how it works. And the other thing of saying that when the founders expose themselves, that's when we can see if they are for a good cause. This organization, this community that we created is not about us. We are just people who are trying to move something forward. It is not about us. We are not at the center of this issue. The same way you can't center yourself on an issue that's supposed to be solving problems for women. You can't make it seem like women are the problem for holding you accountable for your oppressive behavior.
I think I just like to argue something that you said. Like, I just like to argue that it's like when you said that it's not about us. It actually is. It really is. And that shouldn't be a problem. That women are saying we have this problem and we want to fix it like this. Why is it that people who are experiencing something, talking about something, invalidates it? No one is more astute to discuss the effects and issues of rape culture than the people that are experiencing it. That needs to stop being an excuse to invalidate people's problems. Of course, you've been raped, so of course you want to talk about rape. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. You've had daddy issues. That's why you want to talk about daddy issues. Yes. That's how that works. Yes. It's precisely. You are not. Imagine if you went around saying, you've had a racist experience. That's why you want to talk about racism. Like, yes, you're proving my point precisely.
And I think with that, this would be a good time to end the video and just say thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast and watching our YouTube video. We just talked about whataboutism and our banter with it. We hope you guys enjoy. And if you're new to us, definitely check out our other social medias, which will be linked in the bio down below. And definitely, if you like us, subscribe, give us a like, share with everyone you know. Definitely would appreciate it.
Comment your thoughts and feelings.
Exactly. Comment and let us
in
know
the
how
comments.
you're feeling.
We'll read them.
We will read them.
Pay attention. Trust me. We will.
So thank you guys. We shall see you in our next video and in our next podcast.